So I just woke up, but I wanted to share a story. Well, I didn't just wake up. I've been up since 4:30. The dog had to go potty, and he wouldn't leave me alone and made me get up, which threw me right into the pain body. But I'm okay right now. I put a little something in my belly so that I could take the medicine. Yes, I'm taking the medicine. When I've got boundaries, man. When it comes to my teeth and having pain, I draw the line. I tried for 2 weeks without anything, and I couldn't function. And then 2 days ago, I didn't want to take any pain medicine because the narcotic in the pain medicine makes you sweat. Well, okay, I don't know about you, but it makes me sweat. And we have had triple digits. Now, yesterday morning, when the rain came, my pain went away. Almost all of it. I was still hurting in my jaw hinges. My bone, my actual jaw itself is hurting as well. And the nerves in your mouth are just as abundant as the ones in your crotch, I'm just saying. Okay, so when the crotch hurts and the mouth hurts, I gotta draw the line. I've been dealing with my back for 3 years, and believe me, I get up in the morning and I scream and I cry sometimes. But I know that it's only temporary, as it will ease off through the day and only come back with a lot of activity. That's another story, and I've already talked about it. What I want to talk about is I got up this morning, and as I was sitting here through my pain, I was watching a video, and at one point, my friend said something about, I wish I could remember so much stuff, but it was about an Egyptian who had, I think it was polio. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But they looked at him as if he had been, they said he had been kissed by ISIS. And this is what caused his condition. Well, I would have to agree with that in a way. And here's why. My first job as a healthcare worker was at a home they called the Dark County Home. Or, back in my mom's day, the infirmary. And used to house children that didn't have homes. But by the time I was working there, it was a place for people who had mental and physical challenges and couldn't live by themselves and their families. And these days, they couldn't give them the care that they needed, or they couldn't they couldn't supervise them, because the world has made it to where everybody in the family has to go to work to pay the bills. And so I don't blame that on the families. I don't. But these people with the mental and physical challenges. I don't like to call them disabilities. And for the last 20-something years, I keep trying not to call them disabilities. I learned working there that we say mentally or physically challenged. Geez, I can't believe I've been talking 5 minutes. What do I even talk about? So, what I think is the same thing. These people that I took care of, it was a home of 64 residents, and it wasn't part of the state, and it wasn't, the state had no I don't want to say they had no business there. That's not what I mean. They didn't have any responsibility there, or whatever you want to call it. I can't find the right word. It was a county thing, and so these people, this was their home, and most of them, almost all of them, are able to make beds and dress themselves and wipe their own butts. Most of the time. And you do have your problems. And we did have 2 married couples that lived there. One end was the women's end, and the other end was the men's end. And then on the very edge of the wings of the place, which was shaped like a letter H, if you were above the building, at the end of the wings is where the married couples would stay. And there was a 24-hour caretaker who lived there as well, and a woman who ended up taking over the kitchen, which I started out in the kitchen, and that's another story. But this place, they had their own farm, their own cows, pigs, chickens. They had an orchard. They had a huge garden, and most of the food came from that. And the people who were, I think there wasn't anybody under the age of 35, so between the age of 35 and maybe 80. And these people lived like it was their home. They helped with the laundry. They helped do the dishes. They helped each other. They would go out and help plant. There was a farmer that also worked there and took care of the animals and stuff like that. And there was also an outside man and woman, a housekeeper, and a handyman. So, and there was 3 shifts, first, second, and third. And it was a wonderful experience. They also had a hairdresser. And almost like a nursing home, but better. And I got really close to these people. And I started noticing that these people, with their, I'm going to change from calling it a disability to a gift. With their gifts came great blessing. There was an autistic fella who did not like being touched, and he didn't really like to talk too much, but you knew when he wanted to talk because he would pace. He would start pacing in front of the nurse's desk. And my job was to just make sure they had their meds, make sure they had their baths, make sure that if they left with family, they signed out and signed in, or doctor's appointments, which the housekeeper took them to their doctor's appointments. And if they had simple treatments or things like, colostomy bag changes, or said they have an infected toe and it has to be cleaned or soaked, those were the things that I did. And you didn't need a license to distribute the medicine because this was their home and I was basically a babysitter. but it was way more than that. These people became my family. I worked there for 3 years, and I learned so much about people that had challenges. And I also learned how blessed I was to have gotten this experience. And I still think that every day, everything that I go through. But this fella that had the autism could play a piano and sing like an angel. And then there was another lady who, she was just academically slow, very academically slow. However, she could read music and she could sing better than most of the people you could hear on the radio. And these people touched me in a way that it was a big blessing. It was a big blessing. And they were so kind, and they treated me better than the outside world. And so when I did finally leave to go to the hospital to work, which I had been trying, every 6 months I would go put my application in there because I needed the insurance and stuff, because I was already having some problems with my face and everything. And with my face, I didn't have any other problems at the time. It was just my face and my teeth. When I worked there, I drove a 1974 Chevrolet Monte Carlo Landau that was maroonish red with a white vinyl top. And I loved that car. I had that car about 12 or 13 years. And I drove it to work, which was 10 miles. And they're at the edge of town, and I was out in the country. So it was like 3 roads, but it was 10 miles. And when I would pull up, they would say, "Here comes Hot Rod. Here comes Hot Rod." And then I had dual cherry bomb glass packs under my car. And it was kind of jacked up. And I love hot rods. I'm just saying, I do. There ain't nothing that gets me more excited than a loud old car, a fast car. I mean, I'm just saying. Anywho, so I would pull up and they would say, "Hot Rod, rev it up! Hot Rod, rev it up!" And they would be out there, like cheering and making hand gestures. And so the first time the boss was like, "I don't think you need to be doing that in the parking lot." And I said, "But they love it." And so when I didn't do it the next time, I told them, I was like, "Look guys, I'm gonna get in trouble." So they went to the office and told them that they enjoyed me revving it up. It was a highlight of their day. At the time I was working second shift. It was before I started third shift. And so it was like right around their supper time when they're coming out, and some of them did smoke, and they would socialize together. And at the front of the building there was a really nice seats and a little garden and stuff. And so I would rev it up, and you guys know what a boarded out Chevy sounds like with dual glass packs. I don't have to tell you, do I? It's like the greatest sound. It's like the greatest. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. And just know that if you see somebody that has a challenge, that there's also some great big beautiful gift in there. And even if they haven't found it yet, it's there. And not only that, but these people, I think like you and me, we chose this. And they knew what they were doing. And if you allow, with an unconditional love and a grateful attitude, you will see the angel underneath.